Uh, I'm only doing this one out of obligation, not because I actually wanted to do it. And if you see my community tab, you probably know why I'm hesitant to do this one. We're looking at Your Dead release in 2023. Let's get to the normal intro. Your Dead is certainly a movie. It was directed, written, and animated entirely by Mute Roth, who, if you saw my community tab, you should probably know a bit about. There's clown stuff going on, and the clown just I don't know. Let's get to the kills. The movie begins with a whole bunch of Mute Roth. Actually, there's a lot of it, even over this poorly drawn city. After we don't see him walk into his house, we get a title card. The main character, named Mark, sees a bill on his table and decides, well, fuck that, we're gonna go into town. I guess where he lives is opening creditsville. He gets done with the opening credits and finds a doll store for sale. He gets back home pretty quickly to meet his AI-generated friend David.
Here's your Mel.
Scariest thing in all movie. He goes into his room but gets out just a bit later, so what was the fucking point of getting in there? He heads over to the doll store and finds a guy named Sam outside.
Man, it's all good, just get the fuck off the property.
After being told to get out, he finds the for sale sign, now with a phone number on it. The number leads him to Dead Meat Fan. Or no, the character's name is Bobby, and Mark just wants to buy the doll store that he found for sale. Bobby tells him that the place had some really scary history because back in the day there was a serial killer named John. And we know that because he kills the crying kid from Five Nights at Freddy's off screen. However, the reason why the doll store got shut down is for reasons I'll link to in the description. Let's just say John died from having a backwards L in his hand. Sure. However, with those grim origins at hand, he still decides to buy the place from Bobby. Mark gets back to the doll store with Sam still outside. Better get cleaning like you're Josh Hutcherson. There's not really a lot to deal with in the doll store except for, whatever this hilariously bad green screen is. He continues cleaning with spooky clowns coming in and out of the background. He realizes the commotion 10 seconds later, but then a clown comes up behind him.
What the fuck?
I know, the clown might want to get his gums checked. After that, Mark decides that's it for the day. He drives home to intercept his brother listening to a Lil Baby song. He gets Neil to stop listening and he explains the entire thing to him.
I was at this doll store and there was this clown doll and all of a sudden blood started coming out of its mouth and shit.
Or at least he tries to anyways. The character sprite from Mark all of a sudden gets a lot better as Neil asks where he's going. He decides to go back to the doll store in order to prove that the doll is real after all. Neil goes outside to touch some grass and then he meets a guy named Jim Bob.
Get the fuck off me!
Do you know where you are?
Dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
I forgot to mention it, but this movie swearing situation is worse than Has Been Hotel somehow. At least he didn't double down and pull a Vizzy Pop because seriously, these are some really vile messages. And yes, you can make your Discord look like that. Jim Bob claims to know who Neil is and tells him to go to the doll store for a friend of his. However, that weirdness ends up getting his mouth slit by a doll. Mark apparates in a black void before entering his house with Neil. They deadass drive in this deadass fake town before they deadass make it to the deadass doll store. Sam's outside the establishment again, so all three of them head inside. When they enter the store, there's a door right there, so they just decide to go and enter it. You know, Mark, maybe the three of you should have just stuck closely together because Neil gets kidnapped by a clown. And then all these clowns just start popping up everywhere. They decide that right now, it ain't worth their time, so they decide to go somewhere else. Somewhere else being this movie's only other location, Mark's house. Mark wants to know more about the situation from Sam, but he says he was only hired to work at the store outside. But since Mark still has Bobby's number, they give him a call. But it doesn't go well, since Bobby wasn't there. That means if they want Neil back, they're gonna go on an all-out attack, with Mark grabbing a bat and Sam grabbing a dull machete. Oh, Mark also grabs a knife that disappears when the bat apparates back in his hand. We then cut to a dark and mysterious room where Neil is currently being held. And if you want to know who's keeping him here, well, he says it.
I'm the guy who's gonna make your problems disappear.
Since he basically controls the entire You're Dead cinematic universe right now, he has everything in plan. And with that, Neil only has what, 5 minutes left to live? Mark and Sam finally step outside the house and see a weird guy in a hoodie. Hoodie guy starts saying some weird shit, and that makes them believe that they can't trust him. It turns out to be true when he attacks Mark. However, Sam sends that foul packing with a machete shot to the eye. They arrive at the doll store for an ultimate showdown and spit out way more F-bombs than they should. That listen to the clown like, oh, right away. And since everyone's in place for the final act, we can reveal the killer to be... who? Oh yeah, the guy on the phone from the beginning that just never called it back. Yep, he's been the killer the entire time. Even though we only saw him kill that one crying kid and no one else. It was him. Apparently he was in that clown that killed Jim Bob or something. Pretty weak reveal, but it gives us the info that John wasn't actually the killer all along, as he cared about the doll store more than his own son. So that means that actually Bobby was responsible for deaths like this crying kid. He'd just throw him into Place's basement and then just frame it on his dad. Kids continued to go missing all over town until his dad John was arrested. The weight of the crimes John didn't commit caught up to him, and he eventually, died on, terms that weren't someone else's in prison. He also hired Sam to go outside, knowing that he'd keep the real secrets of the place, well, secret. That's because Bobby had different plans for Sam, to turn him into one of the clown dolls. So now that they know basically everything about the You're Dead lore, it's time to get into the final climactic action, well, can I call it a battle? The skirmish goes outside before Mark makes it go back inside. That gives Sam the go-ahead to burn the entire bitch down. And also conveniently timed too, since Mark finds his brother. So now Neil can survive.
Oh no, you don't, you stupid son of a bitch!
Oh, Mark, you're being beat up by the clown. What do you gotta say about that?
I'm fucking different, and you're about to find the fuck out, you fucking piece of doll, piece of shit, man.
Wait, I'm sorry. What the fuck was that?
I'm fucking different, and you're about to find the fuck out, you fucking piece of doll, piece of shit, man.
Oh, I still don't understand it. Whatever, the place burns down even further as Mark and Bobby make a run for Neil. Whatever, Bobby gets the last laugh as he kills Neil with the least graphic saw kill I've ever seen. Sam and Mark get the hell out of there as the building goes completely up in flames. Well, Mark, just be glad you made it out alive. The movie ends with him remembering his long-lost brother. Alright, the movie ended technically 20 seconds ago. However, there is a post-credit scene with a guy named Ian driving to the remains of the doll store.
Hello? Is anyone in there?
Well, there's someone outside. Bobby secures the final kill of the movie by stabbing Ian in the face. If your the title is like, possessive thing, then how many people have possessed themselves as being on the count? Let's
Find the fuck out, you fucking piece of doll, piece of shit, man.
Okay. 7 people died in You're Dead. The victims were all male, which gives us a pie chart as blue as Mark's shirt. We've seen the same count 5 times before on the parody, including that god-awful piece of shit, Rarity's New Patterns. With a runtime of 21 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 3 minutes flat. I'll give Amethyst Flamethrower to Jim Bob, as it's easily the goriest kill in this thing. Broken Pistol will go to Neil, because it's a main character death that for some reason happens off screen. And that's it. You're Dead was released in 2023, and as a sequel that came out this year. Only covered that if there's extremely high demand, but until then, I'm Chelsea Rose, and this has been the parody. And that's the You're Dead parody, one of the most obligation-feeling parodies I've ever had, so sorry if it just feels a little off in that department. I finished this one up a few days early, so I had more time to work on the BFB parody, which is undoubtedly going to be another behemoth episode. God, I want to go back to Supercuts regularly so fucking bad. Thanks for watching.